God Save the Queen by Brian May, Guitars for Queen. How do you feel about the Royals? Many Canadians were swept up in Will and Kate mania this past summer. Eyes glued to the biggest event in TV history. Our Conservative majority government has sought to strengthen Canadian ties with Britain, returning the Royal to our military, going big for the Queen's Jubilee celebration. But the debate continues over whether Canada needs the Royals and our constitutional monarchy. Our next guest recently saw some of Canadians' greatest historians duke it out over the subject. Time for some Friday Fury. Anthony Furey, comment editor, columnist at the Ottawa Sun. All right, Anthony, there are people who get really jacked up about this. I think you actually may be one of those, which is terrific. Wouldn't want you on the air if you were dispassionate about this. But what did you see in the nation's capital?
Hi, Charles. It was an event at the Macdonald-Laurier Institute. They put on a series of history wars debates where they debate contentious issues. Usually it's politicians or historians, academics who are talking about it. And Michael Bliss, he's a historian, was arguing John Fraser, who's the master of Massey College in Toronto, over the subject, is monarchy a dangerous anachronism? I found it quite interesting. Neither the gentleman addressed the issue that, to me, was the decisive point in this, but I did think Michael Bliss made some great points in saying, yeah, the monarchy, not too hot.
Okay, now, when he says dangerous, he's not talking about the monarchy that we see in these wonderful series on TV where they are dictators and they've got their own armies and then they're doing these nasty things. They're undemocratic. We're talking about today's, like the Kate and William crowd is dangerous?
Well, we're talking about the concept, the institution, and the relationship that a supposedly, a believably democratic country like Canada would have to a monarchy, and that we'd have a relationship with them. I think the particular people are a little irrelevant, and I'm not too worried that Kate and Will were going to unleash some sort of danger upon us when they were in my city of Ottawa, but it's the institution that's the danger.
All right, well, I want to give you a chance on this, Anthony, because I know you take this seriously, so make me feel, through me, the audience, of course, make them feel threatened by this institution. What's the threat?
All right, well, Bliss's main points were that the reason why we want to phase out the monarchy is because we've been slowly doing it over the 20th century. In 1947, you could get Canadian citizenship for the first time. Until then, you were British subjects. We'd also, we'd created a constitution, we'd gotten our own flag, we'd had our own anthem, whereas for 100 years, we were just relegated under Britain. My main issue is that we've got to ask a primary question: what is man's relationship to his government? Does power come from within, from us, from the people, from us working together, or does power come from without, from some other source, from God on high, or from a monarch? I mean, remember, hereditary monarchy is something that would offend the senses if it was in any other profession. Nepotism offends people to no end.
Well, I hate to engage in semantics, but I guess you're forcing me to. When you say authority, but when you say authority, I mean, what do you mean? They don't have any real authority. They're figureheads. So what am I missing here?
Yeah, well, and it's an interesting thing you bring up, because that's one of the main arguments that John Fraser brought up, to say, no, the monarchy is a wonderful thing because it's a figurehead, it's a symbol. And as we know, several hundred years ago, it was not, and it's just slowly become a symbol in many countries that still retain the monarchy, that still have ties to their monarchical past, because the monarchs have just stayed around, they've just stayed in shop. And I say, oh, well, isn't that a lovely symbol? The fact that you were once not in control of your own destiny, and now you harbor after having that symbol too. I mean, Charles, I find it amusing that we go on and on about the nanny state here and there, and that we have Queen Elizabeth, who's the great grandma state, and we've got her on our pennies, we've got her on our bills, and we somehow think it's charming that we throw back to this fact that we were once relegated under these people, and that they taxed us and they decided how we lived our lives.
Well, if I thought, Anthony, that Grandma Elizabeth had any real power over us, if I thought Grandma was the one who was raising taxes, if I thought Grandma was the one who was imposing all these rules for my own good, of course, and all the other things that we talk about, if I thought that she was responsible for any of it, I would be such a small R Republican. I'd be for trashing the Royals, and I'd be telling the public, you need to fear these people. But it's just that's the problem, that the institution has been, I guess, emasculated, if you will. I mean, it's a constitutional monarchy, so we have the power at the drop of a hat to get rid of it. So that tells me that we've got the hammer, we've got the power.
Right. So then to that point, they're essentially purposeless. They're kind of sitting around. It's something that you've never shaken off. What's it doing there? It's just costing you a little bit of money in terms of administration and pomp, and it's just a symbol of the fact that you were once slaves and now you are free. Well, you know what? We don't really need that symbol anymore. I mean, we could say goodbye to it. I really
Anthony,
think Canada...
I am very interested in how the public sees this. So folks, if you agree with Anthony, please let me know. If you disagree, let me know as well. Charles Adler at sunmedia.ca. I want to continue this down the road. Anthony, thank you so much for opening our eyes to it. Anytime. The dangers of the institution known as